Hi there guys, before we start today's lesson I've got a problem, and that's 6 plus 3 times 4, and you might think, oh, that's quite an easy question, but I managed to get two answers for it. The first answer I got was 36 and the second answer I got were 18, and you might think, sir, how'd you get two different answers? Well, when I worked out the first one, what I did was I did my 6 plus 3, which gave me 9. And I did 9 times 4 equals 36. Can you guess what I did when how I got 18? Well, I did 3 times 4 is 12, and then I added the 6, and that gave me 18. So for the green answer, I did the addition first, and for the yellow answer, I did the multiplication first. And both seem like reasonable things to do. One I started left to right, the other one I said no, I'm going to multiply first, and both could be fine. But we as mathematicians, and this isn't just us as a class, this is every mathematician in the world, needs to be able to see this question and know what to do first. And what would basically happen if we don't have a rule is we would have people arguing like this. And I'm going to name these two people Frank and Joel. And if Frank does it one way, Joel does it another, they end up shouting and no one knows what the answer is. So, hundreds of years ago, they came up with this order of operations. So if you have a multiplication and you have an addition, you'll do it in a certain order. And we've seen this before, but we're going to do a recap. So, the B stands for brackets, stands for indices, and as you can see, indices are things such as 5 squared, where the 2, which means the squared part, that's called our index number. We've got 8 to the power 4, which is equal to 8 times 8 times 8 times 8. The number one mistake to do here is to say that 8 to the power 4 equals 8 times 4. It doesn't. It means 8 times 8 times 8 times 8. And it's not just to the powers, it's also square roots and cubic roots, or any root. So for example, the square root of 36 is 6, and the cubic root of 8 is what times what equals 8, and that's 2, because 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 again is 8. We then go on to multiplication and subtraction. Okay, the teacher's just going to pause the video now so that you can write this down in your book, because it's really important to have BIDMAS written down. Okay, so you may be asking, well, how do we use this then? So if I have a question such as 5 plus 3 times 2, how does BIDMAS change that? Well, what it means is we must do our multiplication first. So I'm going to put an M here to remind me that multiplication comes before addition. So I'll leave the 5 there, and I'll have to do 3 times 2, which is 6, and 5 plus 6 is then 11. Okay, we're going to do the same question now, but I'm going to add brackets in round the 5 plus 3. Well, brackets is my first operation that I look at. So 5 plus 3 will come first, and 5 plus 3 is 8, and so then I do 8 times 2, and the answer is 16. So you can see I've got a different answer this time. Okay, I'm going to do 2 more examples, and I want you to write these ones down. So write down 5 plus 10 divided by 3. So what am I going to look at first? Well, I've got addition and I have division. Going from the top, B-I-D, division comes. So I'm going to put a D there. Then do 5 plus what 10 divided by 5 is, which is 2, and all I have left is addition. So 5 plus 2 is 7. Looking at my second question now, I have no brackets. Do I have indices? Yep, because I've got 3 squared. So I'm going to do my indices first. So I'm going to leave the 4, multiply by what 3 squared is. And 3 times 3 is 9. Then take away 10. Okay, well, I need to look again at what my next operation is going to be. And I have multiplication and I have subtraction. So multiplication comes first in BIDMAS. So then I have 4 times 9 is 36, take away 10, and all I have is last but not least is my subtraction. So 36 take away 10 is 26. Okay, I'm going to give you just 10 more seconds to write that down, and then we're going to look at some questions that you're going to have to complete, and then I'll go through the board on the board in a minute. Okay, so here are your questions. The teacher's now going to pause the video, give you 5 minutes to complete it or until the first person's finished, and then you're going to look at the solutions with me. Okay, so welcome back. The first question, 3 plus 6 times 4. Well, I've got BIDMAS written down at the side, as you should always whenever you're working out questions like this, and multiplication first. So that gives me 3 plus 24, which will give me 27. A very nice number. Multiple of 3. Actually, it's a cube number because 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. Looking at the next question, I have subtraction and multiplication. So my multiplication is going to come first again. And I'm going to have 20 take away 3 times 5, which is 15. And that gives me 5 as an answer. Do you see how I'm working down each time, which makes my working really clear rather than working across, which can get messy and it's difficult to see which step is which. Okay, so question number 3, we had 8 plus 8 divided by 4. And so my division comes first. That gives me 8 plus 8 divided by 4, which is 2. And 8 plus 2, I think I can work that one out. That is 10. I'm just going to quickly go back. I was rushing ahead each time. I'm going to put in my operations for the second row, or the final operation that I completed in each question. So my answers were 27, 5 and 10 for the first 3 questions. For the second 3 questions, well, I had 8 plus 8 again divided by 4, but this time there's brackets. So let's see how the answer changes as a result. Well, I'm going to mark on my brackets first, and I'm going to do 8 plus 8. 8 plus 8 is 16 divided by 4, and mark on that that's division now, and 16 divided by 4 is 4. So do you see how including those brackets again has changed the answer? So rather than being 10, the answer is now 4. For the next one I have 2 lots of brackets, so this one was put in to try and stump you. And all that means is that because they are apart from each other, you can solve them both in the same first row. And so you can see here how I do 8 plus 2 is 10, multiplied by 6 plus 9, which is 15, and 10 times 15 is 150. Again, I'm just going to mark on the M. Okay, the next one, I have a bracket inside a bracket. Well, we treat the most inner bracket as the first one. So I'm going to put a B above the 5 plus 9, and then I'm going to have open brackets 24 minus what 5 plus 9 is, which is 14, close brackets, divided by 2. I'm now going to do my brackets again, and this time I'm going to get 10 divided by 2, and with the division, 10 divided by 2 is 5. So those are your 6 answers to the question so far. I hope you're enjoying BIDMAS as much as I do, and enjoy part 2.